other organizations they may be involved with.
What's the matter with that cat there?
Must be full of reefer.
Full of reefer?
Yeah, man.
Mean that cat's high?
Feeling.
Sailing.
Light.
We now wander off the beaten path with an update from the Reefer Reporter.
Hello and welcome to the Reefer Reporters. It's March the 8th, 2021, and we are live from the Legacy420.com news desk on the People Advocating Cannabis Education Radio Network, found at paceradio.net. Good morning, Reverend Kelly. How are we today?
Good morning, Al Graham. Happy International Women's Day.
That's right, exactly. Happy International Women's Day, Reverend Kelly.
We're celebrating today, March 8th. It would be,
That's right.
International Women's Day. It's such a nice way to celebrate. I remember last year you did the most beautiful tribute. You really appreciate the women in your life, Al, and I thank you for that.
I do. I know that they do a lot for cannabis prohibition, and I can tell you that my wife does a hell of a lot for me.
Oh, wonderful.
I can tell you that for sure.
Thanks, Gail.
Yes, thanks, Gail, very much. That's true. The end of last week was pretty rough around here, so yeah.
Wonderful.
Okay, I have a few things here I want to discuss, which was Happy International Women's Day. Also, we have the nutrient giveaway that we're doing here on the network with Calexia Nutrients, so people listen to the ad in the commercial breaks in order to learn how to win, and hopefully we can give away some. We'll be giving away some free food over the next month.
Wow, and I've heard really good stuff about these products, so good.
Yeah,
good
right.
prize.
Exactly. What's new at the lounge?
Oh, we're celebrating International Women's Day. We're doing virtual stuff, and we're allowed to have a few people visit. So they've been visiting us a little bit, having some coffee and saying hello after not being allowed to for a long time. So it's nice to see some familiar faces around the lounge these days.
Yeah, I'm sure it is.
Yeah.
And I understand you have a coloring contest going on at the lounge. I told you it was going to be in the news.
I know you did. It was so funny. We had a few members in on Friday night, and they were all coloring this Reverend Kelly coloring sheet. And I looked around and I thought, wow, this is very odd. Humans are coloring me right now. So we do. It's in conjunction with the site Hypocrisy, and we're giving away some prizes if you submit your coloring sheet. One gentleman on Friday night colored me green. He thought that because I have a green lounge, I should be even more green. So we're just having fun, passing the time out.
Yes, yeah, exactly. That's what it's all about, just having fun, having a good time, and having some laughs. I've seen some very nice looking drawings, just so you know, or colorings.
Thank you. Yeah, they're doing a good job. Thanks for saying that.
And one last thing I want to touch on before we get into the news. Last Thursday, while I was sick and not able to run the board for Kim because she's having issues there, she gave it a shot to use StreamYard for the Reefer Reporters, and it's something that we've been working on sort of behind the scenes to get things live on the Facebook, on the YouTube, as well as to get audio here out to StreamYard to our listeners all around the world. So we're trying to expand our format, our platform, and all that stuff, our reach to people. And Kim got things rolling last week with the unpracticed test, and it went well. So watch in the coming weeks as we switch the way we're doing things around here with the Reefer Reporters.
Wow, exciting! So exciting.
Yes.
Good. Can't wait.
Yes, exactly. All right, into the news. First story of the day comes to us from Marijuana Business Daily. First story headline says 1/3 of Canadian cannabis consumers or users consumed more during the pandemic.
And has a wonderful poll here, a graph showing different reasons for it. And it says that slightly more than 1/3 of Canadians who use cannabis increased their consumption during the COVID-19 crisis. And that's according to a new Statistics Canada report on pandemic-era alcohol and cannabis use.
Yeah, they say that 16% of Canadians reported using cannabis at least once in the previous month. Which was based on a January 21 web panel, said it was statistically representative of the Canadian population.
Yes, and 34% of those who had previously used cannabis said they increased their consumption during the pandemic, compared with 12% who reported using less cannabis.
More than half of the cannabis users, which was 54%, said that they had not increased their consumption during the pandemic, and I would be one of those 54%, even though I did not do that poll.
You would say that your cannabis consumption is consistent with prior to pandemic and now.
Yep.
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 Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
So, well, you're a medical patient. I wonder if this is more like a recreational poll.
Well,
You think?
yeah. Well, I don't know. I think it's going to be combined because of the fact that as we say, as it says here, stress was the number one thing.
Right.
Right.
But 64.5% of them suggested stress. That's a lot.
That's right. Yeah. The top ones were stress, boredom, and loneliness were the top three reasons given for increased consumption, as well as convenience, such as the lack of regular schedule, being at home often, and ease of access to cannabis. Worsening health and pain, and new products such as edibles, concentrates, and vapes were all the reasons why increases were going on.
Right. Now it says that the only real medical that they're suggesting here, they suggest health or pain, worsening health or pain at 21%. So I wonder if that was sort of the medical way to do it. As we know, stress is a big cause, but boredom, loneliness, and convenience, that feels more recreational to me. So it looks like this poll just sort of surveyed everybody.
Yeah, I believe it. It's based on everybody, and being the people aren't at home, aren't at work. You work 8 hours, you got your travel time back and forth, so there's 9 hours out of your daylight hours where people work when they're not able to consume, right? But now if they're home, hey, well, I'm home. Let's have a joint or two, right?
Exactly.
Why not? So, they say the increased social substance of cannabis and the increased number of outlets and range of products available were among factors thought to have led to increased consumption over the past year.
Now, Canadian sales of regulated cannabis increased by 120% in 2020 over 2019 as more licensed cannabis stores opened in most provinces. Yeah,
and you got to think, for example, here in Ontario, right? The doors are starting and opening and opening and opening, and more people getting access to them, which I believe we'll probably get to a story on that later on today.
Oh, good.
Broadcast, so. All right, so it's they say cannabis sales regulated increased by 20. You said that, and Statistics Canada previously estimated the sales of regulated adult use cannabis surpassed sales of illicit recreational cannabis for the first time in the third quarter of 2020.
Right. But then we discussed how would they find that out?
How would they find that out?
How would they figure that out? We don't know for sure how they can. They could just basically pull the legal stores, but how do they know? They're not going to the guy on the corner, Al.
No, they're not. No, they're not. They're not going to the guy on the corner. Hey, are your sales down?
Can you imagine? They just follow the delivery guys everywhere.
Maybe. Well, they have had some like that, I guess. Maybe when they arrested them, but yeah. It's I don't know exactly. It's all based on estimates. Obviously, I would take it.
Absolutely.
So.
Yep.
All right. And talking about the selling of cannabis, our next story in CBC mentions that holding off on selling Cannabis NB says the Grits and the Greens in New Brunswick.
And that's 2 out of 3 opposition parties with seats in New Brunswick legislature, and they say they want the province to hold off on selling Cannabis New Brunswick.
Yeah, back in 2019, the province asked for offers to buy the Crown Corporation tasked with selling cannabis, and they came up, with the multiple offers, and they want to sell it because of the losses, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So. But Cannabis New Brunswick has rebounded in the past year, and they earned $8.3 million in net profits so far in this fiscal.
That's right. And this
that's
week,
good.
Yeah, that's right. Well, now they're making money, right? So people, so they're saying, hey, hang on here. Don't sell it. You're making money now.
Right.
Why would you want to sell it? So, according to one Liberal MP MPP or MLA, he says that there are there are shutdown costs that will happen with the winding down of Cannabis NB, which is true. When you shut down something like that, after you sell it off, there's the shutdown, and it's going to cost more money. So they spend all that money to start it up and spend all that money to shut it down. Will they make any money in the end?
Right? Yeah, his name's Rob McGee, and he's the Liberal MLA, and is quoted as saying, "We believe it should continue with government running the sale and distribution of cannabis." So it seems like they want it to continue that way, Al.
Yeah, according to a Green MLA, Kevin Arsenault, he agrees with him. He says, "I think there's also a public health reasons with the reinvesting some of the profits in the public health system and campaigns." Goes on to say that there's also the fact that these are unionized jobs, so good paying jobs in different communities is always a good thing or a great thing.
Certainly is. Certainly is. Now, not all of the opposition parties are in agreement, though. The People's Alliance leader, Chris Austin, says the province should never have been in the cannabis business in the first place.
Yeah, he says it boggles my mind that the government has any business in retail, especially when you talk about cannabis and alcohol. Well, we have that alcohol here in Ontario, right? Yeah,
right.
And we almost had it with the Cannabis N because we almost went through the same thing as what New Brunswick is doing.
Absolutely. Now, he's quoted as saying, "I think government has a role to play in regulating it, ensuring that there's fair taxation on the sold product. But as far as retailing it, I mean, it's just absurd that government has gotten to this point where it's involved in any type of retail of any sort."
Yeah. He also goes on to say, "I don't see that having any effect on the black market," and that has to do with the monopolies and being privatized and all that stuff.
Right.
He says, "I think that it should be open to people that want to start a business and go with it as long as again, it's properly regulated, fair taxation." Now that's according to, he's a progressive conservative, so
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And McGee says he believes the government's move to sell Cannabis New Brunswick is ideological, even given the corporation was started under a Liberal government, and Premier Blaine Higgs has criticized the idea before he even came into office.
Yeah, his stubbornness probably means they will continue down the road of selling off the rights to selling cannabis, according to McKee.
Okay, well, we'll watch that story for sure.
See what
They've been
happens.
going back and forth with this for a while now.
They have been, and like there was Laws, which
Yep.
is Shoppers Drug Mart and all them.
Yep.
And one other large Canadian company has put bids in on it for it. Yeah. So there are bids that are waiting.
Yeah. Well, New Brunswick loves their cannabis.
Yeah.
I remember their per capita was very, very popular, especially during COVID. I remember that we did a story about that during the summer, and I think New Brunswick had the most sales one month or something. It was like, wow, those guys really like their cannabis.
Like their cannabis.
Yeah, I love it.
Nothing wrong there. Alrighty, on to the next story in BNN Bloomberg. And it says, Ontario captured 40% of legal cannabis market in 2020, but still lags behind the national share. What do you think?
Well, let's see. After 2 years of legalization, Ontario continues to eat away at the illicit cannabis market. Data provided by the Ontario Cannabis Store shows that the province secured roughly 40% of the legal market by the end of last year. That's more than double what the legal market controlled a year earlier, but still lags behind the 52% of the national legal share of recreational cannabis sales as COVID-19 lockdowns weighed on retailers.
According to Daft Roderick, the Senior Director of Communications for the OCS, says it's all about access. If people want to go to a store and they can't buy it, it creates a barrier. Like every other retail market, the impact of COVID can't be overestimated and has provided some real challenges. So I think as we see areas open up and things move forward, then we'll see that number increase.
Now, despite Ontario lagging in capturing legal market share, the province continues to wield the most influence in the country's cannabis market. By the end of 2020, the province accounted for nearly 1/3 of all pot sales in the country, more than 10 percentage points above Alberta, which is the closest provincial counterpart.
Yep, nearly $1 billion of cannabis has been sold in Ontario since the province allowed sales licenses to physical stores. Prices have come down as well, with the average charge on the OCS e-commerce website now around $6.24 per gram, below the 7.76 observed in the illicit market and well under the $9.13 amount seen at the province's retail stores. So there's like a $3 markup buying it from the OCS versus buying it from a store.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It seems like it. I wonder why that is. They determine their prices. These stores determine their own prices. They set their own prices. So how can they be allowed to mark that up so much, I wonder?
Do they actually set
and why
their
would
own
they
prices?
want to? That cuts in on their business. Sorry, go ahead.
And the observed illicit price, they would take that off of websites and stuff like that they would see and then come up with an average.
I think so.
Yeah. Let's see, Roddick also goes on to say, as compared to what's available through illegal online sellers, the price that products are available through the OCS is below that. Pricing has gone in the direction people want, the quality has gone in the direction that people want, and the formats have gotten the direction people want, he continues to say. So.
Now, he added that the prices for Cannabis 2.0 products, which are edibles, beverages, and concentrates, will also likely come down in the future as the novelty of some of these products rubs off for some consumers.
Yeah. So the price is high because it's a novelty?
Is that right? That's
well,
odd.
I don't know. Isn't that what it sort of says?
I wonder if it deters them, though. Like, if you're going to go get a 10 milligram edible for $10, I think that's going to deter you when you can go get a 100 milligram edible for $10 on the reserve. Yeah. So they should probably watch those prices.
They say dried flower continues to represent the largest share of sales in Ontario, accounting for 57% of the market. That was followed by vapes and pre-rolls at 15%. And 12%. Edibles, extracts, and beverages all recorded single-digit shares of the market, according to the OCS data.
There's the answer there. Now, there was 324 licensed cannabis stores operating in Ontario, or there were in Ontario by the end of the year. That was according to the OCS. The average store generated about 100,000 between last October and December, which is down from 2.6 million during the same period a year earlier, as COVID-19 restrictions and increased competition in some concentrated areas weighed on certain retailers.
Yeah, and you got to think more stores. There's more stores there, so the average is going to go down.
Absolutely. Yeah. They're popping up all over the place. I think Peterborough has 7 or 8 now.
Wow, really? Hey, last time we only had 2.
Yeah, I've been visiting them. They're quite lovely.
I know that we're getting 2 closer to us. I'll have 2 eventually, 20 minutes from me. Unfortunately, it may have a negative effect on our sponsor here at the network.
Uh-oh.
So, yes, yeah.
We hope that doesn't happen.
That's exactly. That's what I said too. Alrighty, on to the next one, which I found very interesting.
Yeah.
Say the least. Did you like to read the headline, or shall I?
Yes, sure. It's, let's see, who's it from? It is from Cannabis? Is that what it's called?
No,
Muse by Cleo or Sleo. Striking ads from Jay-Z, so rapper Jay-Z, battle hypocrisy in Cannabis Laws. Ooh, let's see what he says, what it says about him.
Yes. Let's see here. It says that... there's a quote here, and it says, "Cannabis is a federal crime, even in states where sex with animals isn't."
What?
Ooh, what? Yes. This is one of several hypocrisies that they're pointing out in this promo. So let's get on with it. Such pointed copy drives fresh work from Sean J.C. Carter's Monogram Cannabis brand, tackles the hypocrisy of the nation's cannabis laws in a series of striking digital and out-of-home messages developed from a creative shop called Mischief at no fixed address.
Holy moly. Okay, so the article shows some of these signs that I guess that they're putting up.
These are These are billboards.
Posters. They're on
billboards.
billboards.
Look at the size of that one on the side of the building in the photo.
Yeah.
Okay, so
The war on drugs worked if systematic racism was the goal. That's what the billboard that you're suggesting.
That's one of them.
That's
here's
one of
another
them on
one.
the wall there.
There's several here. We'll read them off. If you use a flamethrower to light a joint, you'll be arrested in 17 states, but not for the flamethrower. So you're legally allowed to have a flamethrower, but you're not allowed to have a joint.
Wow. Here's another one. More states agreed on legalizing weed than selecting the president.
Yeah. There's a state in America where cannibalism is technically legal and cannabis isn't.
What?
That's right, exactly. And I looked it up online yesterday. And there are three locations that are within the U.S. jurisdiction. I can't get that word out. Where it, yeah. Oh,
Where
sorry.
you can eat
it
another
was the sex. No, it was just the sex with the animals. There's three places in. We'll get to that one. The cannibalism, I got it mixed up. But the cannibalism, yeah. What exactly? Yeah. It's the one on the animals. I'm gonna scroll down to that one.
You can marry your first cousin in more states than you can buy recreational weed. What is going on here? Is that true?
Yeah, look it up. I don't think they would be running these promos.
No, in the United States of America, they allow these things?
Yeah.
Holy
it's illegal to fly with your AK-47 and checked baggage. The weed, not the gun.
The legal term for bribing a politician is often called lobbying. The legal term for possession of weed is often called felony. Oh, that's a good one.
Oh, yeah. Here we go. Weed is a federal crime, even in the states where sex with animals isn't.
How is that even okay?
I'm going to see if I can find my Google search on this.
God. These are really heavy-hitting posters. It's legal to text and drive in 2 states. It's illegal to smoke weed at home in 17. Which one costs more lives is the question on this one.
I think his message is getting through the goal of showing hypocrisy and all that, eh?
Very important.
Yeah, and like
I'm surprised. These are and they're on billboards. They're saying, let's go back to the article. I'm just shocked by the posters, Al.
Yeah, they're on billboards for people all to see and people to read.
Yep. In each ad, stark white words overlay haunting images of 8 folks charged with cannabis-related crimes. So the pictures of the photographs of the humans that are in these posters, they're people that have been charged with cannabis crimes, Al.
Correct. Yeah, exactly. These are the victims that are in those photos. Yeah. Oh, okay. Hang on.
So you found it? Did you find it?
I might have found it here.
Okay.
Let me see. I just
couldn't believe it. Eh?
I just couldn't believe it.
The Jay-Z man says cannabis laws are out of date and disproportionately cruel and punishing when compared to the rest of the legal code. That's a quote from him. He says, I created this campaign to amplify the voices of those who have been penalized for the very same thing that venture capitalists are now prospering from with the emerging legal cannabis market.
Yeah. Just so you know, I've almost got this pulled up here.
That's okay. I've never been a big fan of Jay-Z. I don't like how he conducts himself publicly, but for him doing this campaign, that's very that's good. That's a positive thing for him to be able to do this, and that gives me a little bit more respect for the man. Because for them to be able to do this, to showcase this, to highlight this, you can marry your first cousin. I can't believe that. You can own a gun and put it in your baggage, but you can't put your weed in there.
Yeah.
You can have sex with an animal, but you can't smoke cannabis, a medicine. So yeah, these are wonderful posters, and I hope that they do the trick. I hope that they open eyes places.
Yeah, it's just crazy. I just went through these things, these posters, and I thought, what is going on there? This is just crazy.
Yep.
You know,
Said that the billboards were in Los Angeles, San Francisco, New York, Chicago, Washington, D.C., and Miami, with more plans for cities to come online by the month's end. So it looks like they're, you know what? That's a good way to spend your big giant fortune, Jay-Z.
Yeah, and it'll be going out there and helping to educate people. Geez, I wish I could find that graph in my hand here. I'm running through here trying to find all those, eh? Maybe I'll find it before the end, but
can't believe it.
I just couldn't.
Sick.
Yeah, what it was some islands off the Pacific. There were some islands there that were in U.S. territory, and then there was two places within the states, and we were just going. I showed it to my wife, and we were saying, what, really?
Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. Well, maybe I'll add it in somewhere after the break somewhere. Maybe if I can find it during the break. Okay.
For sure.
Those
Americans, eh? Holy, what are they doing down there?
Yeah.
They do like their cannabis, though, as in
They
the
do.
next story. We'll see how much they have.
Yes, exactly. Exactly, because according to Forbes, U.S. cannabis sales hit a record $17.5 billion as Americans consume more cannabis than ever before.
Absolutely. The coronavirus was good for some industries and ruinous for others, but for cannabis, 2020 was a breakout year. Legal sales across the U.S., 14 states allow adult use, 36 allow for medical sales, hit a record of $17.5 billion, which is a 46% increase from 2019, and that's according to a new report.
Yeah. Most of the sales growth from adult use markets, especially mature markets like Colorado, which grew sales by 26% to reach $2.2 billion, and Oregon, which saw sales hit $1.1 billion, a 29% increase over 2019, according to the report published by the BDSA.
Wow. So, sorry, my pop-ups have just kicked me out, Al. You'll have to keep going until I find where you are.
Emerging markets like Illinois, which expanded its medical cannabis market to include adult sales last year, saw the largest dollar gain in 2020, rising by $784 million, and that market is now doing over $1 billion worth of sales. Wow. California, the country's largest cannabis economy at $3.5 billion, increased sales by $586 million, while Florida saw a $473 million increase. Now,
let's talk about that California number for a second. Sure. $3.5 billion, Al, in California, in one state.
Yeah.
What? And at that point in time, when they're looking at these numbers, why are they not legalizing coast to coast here with that kind of money that's coming in?
Oh, I know, eh? It doesn't make sense.
No. So Kelly Nielsen, who runs BDSA's Insights and Analytics Department, is quoted as saying, "We expect more potential impact from an economic downturn, but the industry has proven to be resilient. It's potentially recession-proof." They're saying that cannabis is recession-proof, the cannabis industry. What do you think, Al?
Oh, well, if people don't have money, they can't buy it.
Yep.
Right?
Grow our own, I guess.
Yes. Oh, look at that. Look what I found. Kelly.
Did you find it?
Yes, I did. There are 3 states within the U.S. in this photo.
Wow.
Well, this is back to the sex with animals thing.
You're going to post it?
Yeah, I'll post it. I'll share it with you.
Which states are the ones that you can have sex with an animal, but you can't have any cannabis? I don't even understand it.
I know, eh? This doesn't make sense. Yeah. I bet
it's not California or Colorado or Oregon here that we're talking about. None of those wonderful places that understand cannabis. $3.5 billion.
Yeah, there you go. United States, minor outlying islands. And when you click on, yeah.
I don't think I ever need to visit that place.
No, I don't either.
I'm picturing what I would see there, and I don't think I like it.
There's the Northern Mariana Islands, which is an unincorporated territory of the United States.
Okay.
Guam, unincorporated territory of the United States. I don't know about the legal end of cannabis, but that tells you about the legal end when it comes to the animal end of
Animals.
things. Yeah.
They like their animals there. Okay. Well, interesting.
Yeah, you learn something new every day, eh?
You really do. You really do. Yeah. So if they don't have any cannabis there, then that's okay. They have their own thing going on.
Yeah. I'm seeing more countries. I'm just shaking my head. I won't get into any more of that.
Okay.
All right. Now, where were we?
Across all U.S. adult use markets, the number of people who consumed cannabis at the end of 2020 was greater than 6 months prior. Of people living in the states that have legalized recreational sales, 43% use cannabis, which is up from 38% now in Colorado, where market penetration is the greatest in the country. 48% of Coloradians imbibe. I don't know what that word is, but 48% of the people in Colorado consume cannabis.
Wow, really?
Wow. Good for them.
That's yeah. I didn't know it was that high.
No, that's high.
Yeah, they say that in California, market penetration increased from 37% to 39%. Josh Buback, co-founder of Urban Leaf, which is a 7-store cannabis retailer based in Southern California, says that 2020 has been a difficult year, but his company hit record sales.
Interesting. Says that we've had our best week we've ever had last week, is what he's quoted as saying.
Good. Let's see. Much of their growth has been driven by the pandemic. Says their flagship location, which is near SeaWorld, suffered tremendously from the drop in tourism. And yeah, that's the first thing I thought before I even got to that. Yeah.
Lack of tourism there.
Lack of tourism, exactly.
They still seem to be selling a lot of cannabis in these states, though. Yeah,
they sure do. Cannabis delivery companies also made a killing last year as they were perfectly positioned to capitalize on the pandemic, which is true. People weren't going out, so hey, dial a bud.
That's right. Absolutely. Now, the emerging markets like Illinois, which expanded its medical cannabis market to include adult use sales last year, saw the largest dollar gain in 2020, rising by $784 million. And then in brackets it says, by the way, it's now doing over $1 billion in sales.
Yes,
oh,
yeah.
That's much money.
It is, for sure. It's a lot of money, and it's... money at one time used to go to the guy in the corner.
Yep.
Let's see what else they got here going on. According to Andrea Brooks, with the company, they say that their growth went up by 60%.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she says that their company's growth was initially fueled by shelter-in-place orders, but she also credits the fact that more consumers are crossing over from the illicit market. Yeah.
Well, they sure do like their weed down there, so
they
should
sure do
federally and make some money and put some of that money back into the communities that were hardest hit by prohibition, like they'd always said that they were going to do. Come on, America.
Come on. Just so you know, I'm scrolling through the animal thing.
Are you still on that?
I'm seeing some disturbing things, I'll tell you.
Stop looking at that, Al. In your brain all day. Oh, my God.
Oh, boy. Okay. Well, Kelly, it's break time, medication time. And time for us to take a break. What do you think?
Okay.
Kelly and I will be right back after our joint session. You're listening to the Reefer Reporters. We are live here at paceradio.net.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
Growing your own vegetables, flowers, or even medicinal plants can be a challenge without the right equipment and proper know-how. At BMA Hydroponics, not only are they your urban horticultural experts and suppliers, but their staff holds the customer's needs paramount to making a sale. family owned with decades of experience and knowledge, they offer free advice in person, by phone, or email. BMA Hydroponics wants to ensure you have the advice you need, which is why you'll find tips and tricks on different ways to grow, like wick, ebb and flow, drip, or aeroponic system, as well as other helpful links at bmahydroponics.com. If you can't find what you're looking for, just let them know, and they'll do everything they can to get what you're looking for. At BMA Hydroponics, each staff member also possesses a federal exemptee MMAR license, making their strong suit empathy, experience, and dedication to their customers. Because when you know how to grow, you'll have results that make you proud. BMA Hydroponics in Belleville, Ontario. Visit bmahydroponics.com.
CP operates a medicinal cannabis signing clinic. If you want to grow your own medicinal cannabis and are located anywhere in Canada, then I'd like to suggest that you give them a call. They can be reached at 1-613-967-9888. That's 1-613-967-9888. And grow on with CP.
Pace Radio is the people advocating cannabis education radio network.
A doctor's job is to relieve your pains. And when it comes to growing cannabis, the biggest pain is trimming. Let Dr. Buck Cannabis Trimming Solutions take the pain away. Whether you're a home grower or a commercial operation, we have the cure. From 4 plants to 400 plants, garden size doesn't matter. Dr. Buck Cannabis Trimming Solutions comes to you with years of experience and professional discreet service. It's simple. We trim your weed and we do a damn good job. Visit drbuckcts.com to book your trimming.
Hey growers and grow shops, do you want a 20% increase in yield from your cannabis grow? Then you need Calexa nutrients for bigger, better buds. Grow Micro Bloom is a 3-part premium-based nutrient trio specifically formulated to give you bigger, better buds. Win your own sample kit by heading to CalexaNutrients.com and contact us with your name, email, and catchphrase. We will pick one random name on the Pace Radio Facebook page. So remember, check out Calexa Essential Nutrients for bigger, better buds at CalexaNutrients.com.
Enjoy the buzz of legalization with Campbellford Lifestyle Shop. From lights to plant nutrients, books, consumption accessories, and more. We've got all your basics to grow or consume cannabis. Visit our info center or take a look at our piercing services and body jewelry, now available in-store through Campbellford Lifestyle Shop. 17 Bridge Street West, Campbellford.
The People's Alliance of Cannabis in Canada is an organization working to improve cannabis legalization in Canada. They have a mission and values that includes all Canadians, no matter where they come from. The values are including everyone, as no one should be excluded from participating, equality, diversity, advocacy, along with cannabis education and research, plus industry, safety, and professional standards. If this is an organization that has the same values as you, check them out at peoplesallianceofcannabisincanada.ca. Once again, People's Alliance of Cannabis in Canada.ca. Check them out.
At Legacy 420, we believe in being different.
Experience the difference of quality control.
Our labs provide tested formulations for all of our products.
Experience the difference in trust.
Our customers can trust that we are following up-to-date COVID precautions for their safety.
Experience the difference in accessibility.
We're open 7 days a week. Please visit our website, legacy420.com, or contact us for curbside pickup as well as nationwide mail order shipping.
Legacy 420 values overall wellness.
Come and experience the difference of Legacy 420.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net. Hey, we're back for a medication session, and you're listening to Reefer Reporters, and we are live here at paceradio.net. Well, Kelly, we got through those first 5 stories. We have 5 more to go, and just so you know, over the break, I sent you a picture of the 3 states in the U.S. where you know, we had that hot topic in the last session about sex.
Yes, the animals.
Yeah. The animals,
That correct. You can be friends with animals in inappropriate ways.
Correct. And just
we
so
were
you know,
talking about that because you can not have plant-based medicine there, your cannabis, but you can be friendly with animals, which we Kelly and Al, think is incredibly disturbing.
Yeah.
So thanks for sending me that, Al. I'll take a look at that after.
Places where you might not want to go.
Right. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, into a good news story. After that last one, all right, the other one. This comes to us from the Mining Journal, and it says, first adult use cannabis payments distributed to communities.
Such a wonderful story.
It is.
It's the Michigan Department of Treasury is distributing nearly $10 million to more than 100 municipalities and counties as part of the Michigan Regulation and Taxation of Marijuana Act.
That's right. 38 cities, 7 villages, 21 townships, and 38 counties began receiving payments from the Marijuana Regulation Fund for every licensed retail store and micro business within its jurisdiction. For the state's 2020 fiscal year, this means that each eligible municipality and county will receive around $28,000 for every licensed retail store or micro business.
Wow. Now, the appropriate payments to local municipalities they divide it up and they give some to different townships, they talk about the different divides. And they're saying that the revenue generated from cannabis taxes and fees is important to our local governments. That's according to the state treasurer, Rachel Eubanks, said in a news release. In this extraordinary time, our staff is working to get those payments to impacted municipalities and counties. Every dollar helps right now.
Yep, for the state of Michigan's 2020 fiscal year, more than $31 million was collected from the 10% adult use cannabis excise tax. Combined with fees, there was a total of $45.7 million available for distribution from the fund. Holy smokes.
Wow. Now, state law outlines how much is distributed from the Cannabis Regulation Fund. Aside from the nearly $10 million in disbursements to municipalities and counties, around $11.6 million will be sent to the School Aid Fund for K-12 education, and another $11.6 million to the Michigan Transportation Fund upon appropriation. Now, the remaining $12.5 million amount will be used towards startup and administrative costs.
School Aid Fund.
Woo! Love it.
Gotta like that. There's not and money going to all these communities and all that. Fantastic. Yes. They say here, according to MRA Executive Director Andrew Bisbo, in a news release, he says the team at the Marijuana Regulatory Agency did a tremendous job getting the adult use licensing program established and operating efficiently. Infusing over $28,000 per retailer or micro business into local government budgets across the state is very impactful and shows how strong and successful the industry is becoming.
Wonderful.
Just
I love it.
You know, yeah, I read there was other stories on this. There was one place that got over $600,000.
Oh my goodness!
Because they had so many stores.
How wonderful! And this goes right back into the community. They should be taking a piece from this for every state and taking a look at what's happening with these communities, that they're flourishing with this fund, money going to school. Yeah. And then maybe at that point in time, these other states can look at doing that as well.
Yeah, why not spread it around the world?
Why not spread it to Canada?
That's right, exactly. You know, there was there was this if there's a profit in the first 2 years, our municipalities will get some money. But since, like here in Ontario, we didn't have very many stores, there wasn't as much in the way of retail sales in order to generate a lot of money in order to give it to the communities.
Right.
Okay. All right, on to the next story from Marijuana Business Daily. Go ahead, this has got a chewy topic.
Oh, it does have a chewy topic. Would you like to be an heiress to receive $1.9 billion? Wrigley Chewing Gum heir to take Cannabis MSO Parallel public via $1.9 billion. Could you imagine if you were an heir to Wrigley's gum?
And you had $1.9 billion that you could just throw into a deal?
Throw on to any cannabis deal you want. What?
Wow. Chewing gum heir William Bo Wrigley Jr., the CEO of Atlanta-based Parallel, struck a mammoth deal with an entertainment mogul to take the cannabis multi-state operator public through a transaction that values the company at $1.9 billion.
Ooh, so it's called Cirrus Acquisition Corp., a special purpose acquisition company, co-founded by Scott Scooter Brown, will buy Parallel, allowing the new company to go public by taking on Cirrus' listing on Canada's NEO exchange.
Yeah, a group of investors led by existing Cirrus and Parallel investors are committed to the deal through an oversubscribed private investment in public equity of $225 million at a price of $10 per share.
Wow. Other investors include institutions and private family offices in the U.S. and Canada. Ooh, and Canada as well. Now, the combined public company is expected to have a $430 million cash balance at closing. That includes $120 million of cash held in the escrow account, assuming no redemptions.
Yes. Wrigley will continue to serve as Parallel's chair and CEO, while Braun, who has managed notable acts such as Justin Bieber and Andre Grande, will serve as a special advisor.
Okay. So it must be approved by shareholders of both companies, U.S. and Canadian regulators, as well as the NEO exchange and over-the-counter markets. It sounds like that's a lot of money going into that. What do you think they're going to make with it?
I don't know, but I know when I go down the other two paragraphs, it says that the company announced it intends to enter into a partnership with Cookies, a cannabis company from the California's Bay Area. I don't know, Cookies? Do they make cookies?
Cookies. Well, that's what I was wondering. I was wondering if this is Wrigley's gum. Maybe they've got some idea to make cannabis gum.
Maybe.
What do you think? Maybe.
Maybe.
I don't think I've ever had any cannabis gum before. You?
Yeah. No.
You have?
No. Oh, well, have I heard of cannabis gum? I don't think so.
I don't know.
Sure.
So if it's Wrigley's chewing gum, maybe it's just that they wanted to invest in cannabis. But I'm curious to see if we have any cannabis gum in our future. That would be neat.
Gum coated in cannabis sugar.
I'd like that. Chew your gum and have your medicine. Be elevated.
Yeah, that's right. It's right. Hey, if Red Bull can have wings and make you fly.
That's it. See, we've just invented Everest and steal our idea. Let's go make the gum right now, Al.
Yes.
We're going to be rich.
Yes. Yeah, it sounds good. Talking about sounding good, I like the idea of this next story.
Yes. It's cut from the Anchorage Daily News.
That's right. Headline says,
Alaska Cannabis Control Board is considering doubling the amount of THC allowed in edibles.
What do you think of that? You like that headline?
I do like that headline, Al.
Yes. Alaska cannabis regulators are considering loosening restrictions on edible cannabis products in the state. The regulated change would double the amount of THC that goes into a single serving.
Right. Proponents of the change say it would benefit the industry, giving manufacturers more flexibility and saving money for them and for consumers. Alaska's limit on edibles is currently the strictest compared to other states where recreational cannabis is legal, and some states allow much higher doses.
Yep. Still, some worry that the change could have a negative public health effect and cause an increase in accidental overconsumption and emergency calls because of cannabis.
Right. Now, the proposed change under consideration by the State Cannabis Control Board would increase the allowed content in a single serving from 5 to 10 milligrams of THC, and for single packages of edibles from 50 to 100 milligrams of THC total. So, for example, a package of cookies could contain up to 100 milligrams of THC, and each cookie could contain a 10 milligram dose. Okay, so that's how they're going to do it. That makes sense.
Okay, now just look at the way it is here in Canada.
Mm-hmm.
We're 10 milligrams per package.
Per package. Yeah. So if you had those cookies,
and this is
they could only be 1 milligram each.
Yeah, and in Alaska, it's 100 milligrams per package.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
We got a long ways to go, don't we?
We sure do. We sure do.
Yeah. Lacey Wilcox, president of the Alaska Marijuana Industry Association, said the industry wants the regulation change because it will help bring its products in line with what its consumers want.
Right.
Ooh, what a concept.
What a great concept. Yes. Now, she's quoted as saying, from a business perspective or an economic perspective, when you're able to have this the more standardized dose, it decreases cost per use. Well, ding, 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 ding. Just like here, if we're going to buy $10 package of 10 milligrams, that's what did we say? That's going to cause diabetes or, because we're buying these cookies that's not getting us high.
Exactly.
We're not getting any feeling from it. So we're going to eat and gain the weight.
That's right. Exactly. As you said, you mentioned that she says in there that, the standardized dosing decrease your cost. She also goes on to say the more potent a product is, the less of these products you might need to make. The average consumer of cannabis is going to need more than 5 milligrams. They're going to need perhaps even more than 50 milligrams.
Good quote. We should wear shirts with that on it.
Yeah.
Right? Visit Health Canada. Now, the Cannabis Control Board is taking public comment on the proposal until Friday at 4:30. It's scheduled to take up the matter in its next meeting on March 31st.
Yeah. Hey, I'm all for that. Why not? Yeah. Double it all up.
Yep.
Sounds good to me. And there's more to this story. If you go on, people who read it at the Reefer Reporters Facebook page, there's much more to it, and because it covers other states as well on what they're doing. Yeah. So it's good to see.
Yes.
Changes to increases that people and patients are asking for.
Absolutely.
All right. What's our next story?
It's from Foley and Lardner LLP, and it says Cannabis, a potential revenue boon for professional sports leagues.
Oh, interesting. And nice bud.
I was just going to say, what a beautiful photo right there with all those beautiful crystals on that cannabis.
Yeah, and if you look in that hazy background, it looks like there's a lot more of them. Now, back in January, the UFC announced a major modification to its anti-doping policy. A positive test for THC in cannabis no longer constitutes a violation unless there is evidence that an athlete used it intentionally for performance-enhancing purposes.
Absolutely. Now, similarly, prior to the 2021 season, NBA declared its random testing policy for cannabis would remain suspended as it was for the conclusion of the previous season in the bubble at the Walt Disney World Resort in Florida.
Yep. UFC and NBA's decision align with a larger growing trend, both generally in the United States and specifically American professional sports, illustrating the relaxation of the rules and regulations surrounding cannabis. And this article is going to talk about that, I guess.
Yes. Now, the ongoing legalization of cannabis, of course, the progressing legalization of cannabis across the country is likely the main driver of the shifting standards in the sports world. Now, to date, 15 states have legalized cannabis, 36 have permitted medical cannabis, and additional states have considered legalization plans that would commence this year. Now, it talks about going on the House of Representatives, past the legalization, and the Biden administration being in place, and hopefully that will be positive. Obviously, it's going to have its effect on sports.
Yeah. Now, as far as legal treatment of cannabis in professional sports, they said other professional sports leagues have adapted their policies on cannabis as the wider legalization effects have progressed. For example, under the NFL's current collective bargaining agreement, which was ratified in March of 2020, the threshold amount of THC required to trigger a positive test was raised by a factor of 4. Players can no longer be suspended for positive tests, and testing can only be conducted during the first 2 weeks of training camp. And Major League Baseball, for its part, no longer classifies cannabis as a drug of abuse and instead treats cannabis the same as alcohol.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love that they're recognizing this.
Yeah, big time. Big time.
Incredible.
Good stuff.
So reasonably, they test for alcohol before you play a game or such, and maybe they're testing for cannabis in the same way. If they're treating it like that and they're not penalizing these players, that's wonderful. That's definite progress here in the world of athletics. Good news.
No longer classified as a drug of abuse.
Yep.
Nice. Okay, next steps. They say monetization. They say that should legalization efforts become more widespread over the next few years, professional sports leagues may look to monetize cannabis through potential partnerships with industry players, especially professional athletes choose to become brand ambassadors.
Yep.
Hey, what do you think about that?
We have one up here. We have, his name is Elias. I think it's Tobias Elias. Anyway, he's a UFC player, fighter, and he champions cannabis all the time. He's known for it. So They're brand ambassadors all over the place. This is a new market for these guys. And these athletes are using cannabis to repair their bodies after being hit or punched or trampled on out in fields. And they're using cannabis to heal.
Yeah, exactly. I know our sponsor, Legacy 420, has gotten involved with athletes.
Wonderful.
Yeah, and that's over their sacred salve.
That's amazing.
Exactly, it is. It is. So it's good to see.
Yeah.
Good to see acceptance coming into the sports world of cannabis.
Yes.
And that. There's no doubt about that.
Yep.
All right, last story of the day, and we will hear more of this down the road. And we've been hearing about it for months.
Did you save the best for last, Al? I think you saved the best story for last.
All right, here we go. Go ahead with the headline.
It's the best story. Mexico is going to pass cannabis legalization this week.
That's right. That's according to the former president. Former President Vicente Fox, who has been saying for a long time about this, said last Friday he expected Congress to pass a new law to legalize cannabis next week, which is this week, a move that would effectively create the world's largest cannabis market.
I remember we reported on this last year saying at the end of March they would be legalizing. So we're in March now. So I know that they've been saying for a while, they've been putting it off, and we've been covering this story. But Al, I think it's really going to happen now. What do you think?
Well, I hope so, and I hope he's just not trying to apply some pressure on the government to actually finally go ahead and do this.
Yes.
It's been delayed and delayed and delayed and delayed. Yeah. So they finally got their medical end passed.
Yep.
So let's get the legalization for the rec done.
Well, let's hope so. It says it's backed by the administration of their president, and it would mark a major shift in a country which has been known for the years of violence between feuding drug cartels.
Yeah. Fox, the director of the Colombian-Canadian Corona Life Sciences, which focuses on cannabis for medical use, has been a long-standing advocate for the decriminalization of cannabis in Mexico. He has been. That's the first I ever heard of him. Was one of the first things I had heard about him was that he wanted to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Now he says that we're receiving a direct information from the lawmakers. He says it's information that is quite trustworthy and solid. And next week, this should be approved.
Yep. A source in the lower house told Reuters that the bill would be discussed today, Monday, and it was due to be approved in December, but was delayed.
Which we know we've been following. Delayed. Right. I think it's going to happen this month, though, Al. I feel good about Mexico.
Yeah, exactly. Now, as far as a Canadian connection, Canada's cannabis growth in the Green Organic Dutchman, as well as medical marijuana from California, among other firms, are eyeing Mexico.
Ooh, yes, Grandview Research said in a recent study the global legal market for the plant could be worth $73.6 billion by 2027. What? 70 billion, just over $70 billion by in 5 years from now, 6 years from now.
Yeah. Lots of zeros. Love it. Yeah, Lopez Obrador has argued that decriminalized cannabis and other narcotics could help combat Mexico's powerful drug cartels. And Fox said he wants to create a cannabis greenhouse in a laboratory where the plant will be studied at the Fox Center.
He says that he's convinced legalization of cannabis is the first step towards legalization of all prohibited products.
And you know what I took that as?
Yeah, what does that mean?
He's going to move on after this to try to decriminalize all drugs, like they did in Portugal. And we're hearing more and more and more about.
Yep.
Yeah.
Positive feedback from that. Is there positive feedback, or is there been negative repercussions from that?
In Portugal, it's been a great success.
Okay.
Other countries have duplicated it, where people are pulled into the health system instead of into the judicial system.
That's if it's working for them, it's positive. If they're okay and they're legalizing that, as long as they're not legalizing the farm animals out, I think we're okay.
Yeah, we gotta stay
Yeah.
away from the farm animals, man. That's yeah. I just we're still shaking our heads at that. There's no doubt about that.
I know we are.
All right. Yeah. Okay. So let's see. Anything that we need to know coming up at the lounge now that we're done our 10 stories for this upcoming week?
We've got our coloring contest happening, and we'll be posting lots of stuff for the International Women's Day. We've got an interview during the 4 o'clock hour this hour with Jackie Childs, who's my favorite woman of inspiration.
Nice. And you get all that at Ontario's only last remaining lounge.
Oh, I guess it is. Yes.
I don't know of any. There might be some underground ones out there, but I don't know of any legal ones.
No, none of the legal ones.
Yeah. All right, that's our Reefer report for March the 8th, 2021 from the Legacy420.com news desk, and for our buds at BMA Hydroponics and drbuckcts.com, as well as Legacy420.com and Camelford Lifestyle Shop. We'd like to say thank you for listening to our program. I'm multitasking here, people, just so you know. If you enjoyed it, please share it with whom you think will benefit from it. A friend, a family member, or the guy down the street. Please. Plus, don't forget to educate, medicate, and do not incarcerate. The opinions of the individuals during this broadcast are their own and may not be the opinions of their group or other organizations they may be involved with.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
At Legacy 420, we believe in being different.
Experience the difference of quality control.
Our labs provide tested formulations for all of our products.
Experience the difference in trust.
Our customers can trust that we are following up-to-date COVID precautions for their safety.
Experience the difference in accessibility.
We're open 7 days a week. Please visit our website, legacy420.com, or contact us for curbside pickup as well as nationwide mail order shipping.
Legacy 420 values overall wellness.
Come and experience the difference of Legacy 420.
Enjoy the buzz of legalization with Campbellford Lifestyle Shop. From lights to plant nutrients, books, consumption accessories, and more, we've got all your basics to grow or consume cannabis. Visit our info center or take a look at our piercing services and body jewelry, now available in-store through Campbellford Lifestyle Shop, 17 Bridge Street West, Campbellford.
What do you find at paceradio.net? People advocating cannabis education.
CP operates a medicinal cannabis signing clinic. If you want to grow your own medicinal cannabis and are located anywhere in Canada, then I'd like to suggest that you give them a call. They can be reached at 1-613-967-9888. That's 1-613-967-9888, and grow on with CP.
Growing your own vegetables, flowers, or even medicinal plants can be a challenge without the right equipment and proper know-how. At BMA Hydroponics, not only are they your urban horticultural experts and suppliers, but their staff holds the customer's needs paramount to making a sale. Family-owned with decades of experience and knowledge, they offer free advice in person, by phone, or email. BMA Hydroponics wants to ensure you have the advice you need, which is why you'll find tips and tricks on different ways to grow, like wick, ebb and flow, drip, or aeroponic system, as well as other helpful links at bmahydroponics.com. If you can't find what you're looking for, just let them know, and they'll do everything they can to get what you're looking for. At BMA Hydroponics, each staff member also possesses a federal exemptee MMAR license, making their strong suit empathy, experience, and dedication to their customers. Because when you know how to grow, you'll have results that make you proud. BMA Hydroponics in Belleville, Ontario. Visit bmahydroponics.com.
A doctor's job is to relieve your pains. And when it comes to growing cannabis, the biggest pain is trimming. Let Dr. Buck Cannabis Trimming Solutions take the pain away. Whether you're a home grower or a commercial operation, we have the cure. From 4 plants to 400 plants, garden size doesn't matter. Dr. Buck Cannabis Trimming Solutions comes to you with years of experience and professional discreet service. It's simple. We trim your weed and we do a damn good job. Visit drbuckcts.com to book your trimming.
Hey growers and grow shops, do you want a 20% increase in yield from your cannabis grow? then you need Collection Nutrients for bigger, better buds. Grow Micro Bloom is a 3-part premium-based nutrient trio specifically formulated to give you bigger, better buds. Win your own sample kit by heading to CollectionNutrients.com and contact us with your name, email, and catchphrase. We will pick one random name on the Pace Radio Facebook page. So remember, check out Calexa Essential Nutrients for bigger, better buds at CollectionNutrients.com.
Do you want to hear what patients and cannabis advocates have to say? If so, then catch the Pace Radio Show Wednesday nights here on paceradio.net.
We are people advocating cannabis education here at paceradio.net.